Hello viewers, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel. This is Tutor Harrison J. Zulu presenting before you this wonderful tutorial under mathematical induction. So in this tutorial, we are going to revise through examination questions. We are going to go through questions that come in your exams. So this tutorial is very good and important to your revisions. So make sure you watch this video. And if you are new to this YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe. So we want to talk about mathematical induction. So this is a tutorial that will help you understand questions, and you watching this tutorial, there is no any other question that you are going to fail that will come under mathematical induction. So I'm going to be very brief, slow but sure, so that you understand each and every concept that I'm going to share with you guys. So we are doing mathematical induction. So mathematical induction, this is just something that has been set up to prove statements. So anytime you are talking about mathematical induction, or you are given any question in mathematics that is related to mathematical induction, there are certain steps that you need to follow and understand. So to start with, I'm going to tell you steps that you need to get and understand. So I'm going to share with you the steps that you need to know and understand, so that you get an understanding before we look at an examination question. So what you need to do, the first step is that, so anytime you're given a question under mathematical induction, these are steps that you need to follow. So the first step is that you prove the statement. So you prove that the statement is true. Prove that the statement, you prove that the statement, prove that the statement. So you prove that the statement is what? The statement is true. So you prove that the statement is true for what? For n is equal to 1. This is the first step that you need to do. So you prove that the statement is true for n is equal to what? Is equal to 1. This is the first thing that you are supposed to do. So the second thing that you need to follow and understand is that you do what? Is that you assume. So the second procedure, or the second step, is that you assume that the statement, so I'm going to do this, you assume that the statement, so that's a statement, you assume that the statement is true. So you just assume that the statement is true for n is equal to what? N is equal to k. So this is what you are supposed to do. So step number 2 is all about assuming. You just assume that the statement is true for n is equal to what? Is equal to k. Then we move to the next step, which happens to be our last step. So in this last step, what are some of the things that you need to do and get? So last step, we just do what? You also prove. You prove that the statement, prove that the statement is true. So you prove that the statement is what? The statement is true. So you prove that the statement is true for what? N is equal to k plus 1. This is what you are supposed to do and understand. So basically, these are the 3 steps that will make you understand this. So these are the 3 things that we are going to measure in this tutorial. We are going to talk about these 3 steps. So the first step, what you need to do is that you prove that the statement is true for n is equal to 1. This is what you need to do. So just prove that the statement is true for n is equal to 1. Then step number 2, you assume that the statement is true for n is equal to k. So step number 2 is very simple, because you just do what? You just assume. You just assume that n is equal to k. This means that where there is n, you are going to put what? You are going to put a k. And then step number 3 is where you get to prove now that the statement is true for n is equal to k plus what? K plus 1. So these are the major 3 steps that you need to know and understand. So we are going to look at these steps that I've just shared with you. So now let us now look at an example. Let us now look at an exam question. How do questions come in your exams? So I'm going to give you this example. So let's say you are given a question. This is a question: 3 plus 6 plus 9 plus 12 plus, just going like this, then plus 3n is equal to, so is equal to what? 3n open bracket n plus 1 close, then you say over 2. You are given this type of equation. So in this question we are told to prove this statement. We are told to use mathematical induction to prove this statement. So how can you prove this statement? So what you need to do, the first thing that you need to do, so the first thing that I told you, so you are going to say that step what? Step 1. This is what you are going to do. Step what? Step 1. Step 1, what did I say? You prove that the statement is true for n is equal to what? Equal to 1. This is what you are going to do. So we are going to do what? We prove the statement. Prove statement. This is what we are going to do. So we prove the statement that n is equal to 1. So this means that here what you are going to do is that when you look at this, this is the equation given here. We've got the left hand side. This is the left hand side. We also have the what? The right hand side. This side. This is the what? Right hand side. So these are two major things that you need to know and understand. So I'm going to prove this other side. I'm also going to prove this other side. This is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say left hand side. So left hand side, what do I have this side? So what do I have? So left hand side, what do I have? I have this. You just need to get this one here. This is what? 3n. So you get 3n like this. So we are saying that where there is n, we put 1. So this is the same as 3 times 1, which is just equal to what? Equal to 3. So left hand side, we've got a what? We've got a 3 here. Then I say right hand side. Have you seen? So right hand side, I've got something like that. So this is what I'm having. Have you seen? I've got what? I've got that. So in that, I know that where there is n, I'm going to put 1. So that is the same as 3 times 1, open bracket, then 1 plus 1, I've got a 2 there. Have you seen? Then over what? Over 2, like this, which is equal to. So 3 times 1, it is 3. 3 times 2, that's 6, over what? Over 2, which is equal to what? Which is equal to 3. So this is my answer. So when you look at these two, you've got what and what? We've got left hand side and the left hand side and the right hand side. So have you seen? The answer here was 3. Even the answer here is 3. You just say therefore the statement is what? The statement is true. The statement is what? Is true. This is what you need to do. You just say the statement is what? The statement is true for n is equal to 1. Have you seen? The statement is what? Is true. This statement is what? Is true. This is the first step. Then we move to the second step. So the second step, we do what? We assume. So let us move to the second step. We go to the step number 2. So step number 2, what did I tell you? Step number 2, you just do what? You just assume. So step number 2 is all about assumption. We just assume that the statement is true for n is equal to what? K. This is what we are going to do. Have you seen? This is what we are going to do. So this means that here in this statement, where there is n, I'm going to put a what? A k. So I'm going to have something like this: 3 plus 6 plus 9 plus 12 plus 1, 2, like this, plus what? 3n is here. Where there is n, I put what? K. So I put a k here. I put a k like this, which is equal to what? 3k, open bracket, k plus 1 close, over what? Over 2. I just assume This is the statement where you just do what? You just assume. So this is a simple step. You just do what? You just assume. Let us now go to the step number 3. So step number 3, this is where you are told to prove now. You prove the what? You prove the statement. So you prove for n is equal to what? K plus 1. This is what you need to do. So this is what we are going to do. Have you seen? This is what we are going to do. So here now, what you need to do now is this. This is what we are going to do. So I'm going to get this expression here. This is the what? This is the statement which is what? Which is given. Have you seen? This is the statement which I'm having. So in that statement of mine, what I'm supposed to do now is that I need to get this. Where there is n, I put what? What I'm going to put is k plus what? K plus 1. This is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say that 3 plus 6 plus 9, have you seen? Plus 9, then plus 12, plus, this is just going, have you seen? So before there is k plus 1, there is what? 3k. Have you seen 3k? Then I say plus 3, then 3k. Have you seen? So I can do this, then plus 1 like this, which is equal to 3. Where there is k, I put what? Where there is k, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put what? I'm going to put k plus 1. Have you seen? Here, there is n there. I put what? K plus 1. So k plus 1 like this. Then I do this. This is what I'm going to do. Have you seen? So these are steps that I need to follow. So when I do that here, so I've said there, then I put this one here. K plus 1, I do over 2. Have you seen? So there, where there is n there, I put k plus 1. This is k plus 1. Then n, I put k plus 1. Have you seen? K plus 1 plus the one that is there. So I'm going to have something like this. K plus 1, then plus what? 1. Which means that I'm going to have k plus 2. So here I'm going to have what? K plus what? Plus 2. This is what I'm going to come up with. Have you seen? So this is what we've come up with. Then if you look at this statement here, this thing here, have you seen? When you look at this thing here, have you seen this statement here? When you look at step 2, what did you say? You assumed, we assume that this statement here, have you seen? This statement is equal to what? Is equal to that. So this is what I'm going to do. Have you seen? I'm going to write that. I'm going to say 3k, k plus 1, have you seen? Like this. Then over 2. Then plus what? Plus what? Plus this expression here. So that is the same as 3k plus 3 should be equal to what? Should be equal to this. So I'm proving by mathematical induction. This is what I'm doing. So I'm proving by mathematical induction. So I want to prove that this thing on my left should be equal to this expression on my right hand side. So I'm going to say this is what? 3, then I'm going to say k plus 1 like this, then I say k plus 2 like this. Have you seen? Then everything over what? Over 2. I've got these two expressions. So these are the two expressions that I'm having. So what I need to do, I'm going to get this thing on my what? Left hand side. So I'm going to write this. Then I make sure that it looks exactly like this. Have you seen? Have you seen this answer? This is 3 open bracket k plus 1 open k plus 2 then over 2. So I'm going to get this thing now on my what? On my left hand side. So I'm going to write this thing there on top so that I make sure that it looks exactly like this. This is what I'm going to do. The two expressions that I'm having. I've got this expression here. I've got also this other expression, this other side. So I want to prove that this one is equal to that. So I'm going to work with this part. So I'm going to say over 1 here. What is the common denominator there? The common denominator is 2. 2 into 2, it's 1. 1 times everything there, that thing will appear here. Have you seen? K plus 1, like this. Then 1 into 2, it is 2. 2 times that thing here. 2 times everything here. So I'm going to have what? Plus what? 2, then multiply by everything there, like this. This is what I'm going to come up with. Have you seen? So I want to make sure that this thing here looks exact like that. So in this one looks like that, which means I've proven by mathematical induction by these 3 steps. So what you need to do from here now, you say you multiply this times that, you are going to have what? 3k squared. This times that, you are going to have 3k. Have you seen? This is what you are going to have. Plus, this one is what? 6k. Then plus, this times that, that is 6, like this. Over what? Over 2. This is what you are going to have. Have you seen? So from here, you keep going. So this is just the same as what? This is the same as 3k what? K squared. Here you add, these are like terms. So when you add them, what you are going to have is what? 9k. Then plus what? Plus 6. Over what? Over 2. Have you seen? Then you want to make sure that this expression here looks exactly like this one. Have you seen? So what we are going to do here, have you seen? We factor out what? A 3. So what I'm going to have will be what? A 3 is common. Then I'm going to have a k squared plus 3 into 9, it is 3k. Then plus what? Plus 2, like this. Then over what? Over 2. This is what I need to do. Have you seen? These are steps that you need to follow and understand. So then you factorize. Let's factorize that part, this thing here, which is equal to. So how do we factorize this? How do we factorize that? So this is what? K squared plus 3k plus 2. I believe we know how to solve this. Product, what is your product? 2. What is your sum? Your sum is 3. What are your factors now? What are your 2 factors? It's 2 and 1, like this. So you put them here. This is k plus 1. Have you seen? Then k plus 2. This is how we get to factorize. So this is the same as 3 open bracket k plus 1, then k plus 2. Then everything over what? Over 2. Have you seen? So this thing was my what? Left hand side. So left hand side is now equal to what? Right hand side. So this answer here is equal to that answer there. Have you seen? So these two are just the same. So which means that the statement, this is what you are going to conclude now. You just say, therefore, the statement for what? So the statement for what? N is equal to k plus 1 is what? Is true. Have you seen? Is what? Is true. So this is what you are going to do. The statement is what? Is the statement. The statement for n is equal to k plus 1 is what? Is true. Then you just say, therefore now, you say 3 plus 6 plus 9 plus 12 plus, keeps on going like this, plus 3n is equal to what? Is equal to 3n, open bracket, n plus 1, close, then over what? Over 2. I've just proven this. So this is what you need to do and understand. Let us now look at another example. So a question can come in 2 ways. So let us look at another way in which a question can come. So let us look at another way. This is another question that we may encounter. Have you seen the way it is? So the question is saying, prove by mathematical induction for n is equal to an integer, positive integer. Prove that 7 power n minus 1 is divisible by what? By 6. This is what we need to prove. So you are proving by mathematical induction that 7 power n minus 1 is divisible by 6. So what is the first thing you are supposed to do? So the first thing that you need to do, you say step 1. So step what? Step 1. Step 1, you prove the statement is true for n is equal to what? 1. This is what we are going to do. So where there is n, we are going to put 1. So 7 power 1 minus 1. This is equal to what? 7 minus 1. Then 7 minus 1, what is your answer? Your answer is 6. Then you know that 6, this 6 that we've gotten here, 6 is what? 6 is divisible. Is what? Divisible. So 6 is divisible by what? By 6. So the statement is what? Is true. So you just say the statement is true. The statement is what? Is true. This is what you need to do. So the statement is what? The statement is true. Step 2. So under step 2, what you need to do. So what are you supposed to do under step 2? Assume. The same things we were doing, so those are the same things that you are supposed to do even here. You do what? You assume. In this statement, just assume that the statement is true for n is equal to what? N is equal to k. This is what you are supposed to do. So you just assume. Have you seen? So where is the statement? This is the statement. 7. So where there is n, we put k minus 1. Have you seen this? So you say 7k minus 1 is divisible. Is divisible. By what? Is divisible by 6. Is divisible by what? Just prove that this one is divisible by what? By 6. Have you seen? By what? Assumption. So we've just assumed that 7 to the power k minus 1 is divisible by 6. So we've used what? Assumption. So this is what you are supposed to do and understand. Let us now move to step what? Step 3. Step 3, you prove that the statement is true for what? So it's true for what? N is equal to k plus 1. This is what you need to do. Have you seen? So these are simple stuffs that I'm sharing with you. So let's make sure we get them, we understand them properly. So these are some of the things that you need to do. These are some of the things that you need to understand and get. So this is what we want to do. You want to prove that the statement is true for n is equals to k plus 1. So I've got this statement 7n like this. Have you seen? So where there is what? Where there is n, I put k plus 1. So I'm going to say this is just the same as what? 7k plus 1 minus what? Minus 1. This is what I've come up with. Have you seen? So this thing here, this is just the same as, have you seen? So having same base, so when you are multiplying powers of the same base, what do? We add the powers. So the expression was like this. The expression was like this. So the expression was like 7 here. Then we add what? 7 power k like this. Then you say minus 1. This is the way it was. Such that if we are adding same, if we are multiplying same bases, we add the what? We add the powers. So this is what is happening. We've just added the what? The powers. So now adding the powers like this. So this can also be what? This is a 7. So this can also be like this. This can also be 6 plus 1. Have you seen? Then we've got a 7 there, power k, then minus what? 1. This is what I've come up with. Have you seen? This is what I've come up with. So once you reach here, then you get to do what? You get to multiply. So you are going to multiply this one. Have you seen? We are going to multiply this one. 6 times that one. So we are going to have what? We are going to have 6 is being multiplied by 7 what? 7k. Then I say plus. The one here is being multiplied by 7k. So it will be 7k then minus what? Minus 1. Have you seen the way I've done here? You get this 6. Multiply it with this 7. 6 by that. Have you seen? Then 1, you say plus 1 multiplied by 7k. Any number multiplied by 1 is equal to that same number. So it's 7 power k. Then you say minus 1. So I've got two expressions here. So this is a times here. So when you check this one is divisible by this, by what? 6. Also this one is divisible by 6 by what? Assumption. Here I just assumed that 7k, 7 to the power k minus 1 is divisible by 6. So this one is divisible by what? 6, when we are able to divide by 6 into that there. So even this one is also divisible by 6 by what? Assumption. So this is what you need to do. You say 6, this is, you can put them like this, is divisible by what? Is divisible by what? By 6. Have you seen? Then you say 7k minus 1 is divisible by what? By 6. By what? What did we do? By assumption. So that is what we did. We just did what? Assumed. So we just assumed. So now you just conclude by saying the statement is what? The statement is true. So you say the statement is what? Is true. So the statement is what? Is true. Therefore, you just conclude. Therefore now, therefore, 7n minus 1 is divisible. So it is what? Divisible by what? By 6. Then you've concluded. So these are two types of questions that you may come across in your exams. So let's make sure we revise through them, we understand them properly. So don't forget to like the video so that we may get to attract main viewers. Thank you so much. Hope you have subscribed to this YouTube channel. So if you want to get in touch with me, or if you want to communicate with me, you can WhatsApp me on this WhatsApp line. This is my WhatsApp line. We can get to chat. This is my WhatsApp line. So you can drop a text on this. This is my WhatsApp line. So you can communicate with me on this same WhatsApp line. If you've got any tutorial sheet or you need tuitions in mathematics, we do that at an affordable fee. Thank you so much. This is your tutor Harrison J. Zulu. Don't forget to share these videos with your friends and your colleagues.